start, isn't it? Sister Shivani, welcome to London, welcome to England, and I bring greetings to you from the 100 Women of Spirit, and that is it was an initiative that the Brahma Kumaris did to celebrate, acknowledge Daddy Janki's 100th birthday. And we knew that Daddy would not want to have the attention on her, so we looked to find 100 women who had done amazing things in the world, often unrecognized. Created movements, created communities, changed laws. The difference was what we did with these women was look for women who use their spiritual power. And I'd love to congratulate you on the award that you received in India. Is it the Nari Shakti Woman of Power Award?
Again, like you said, that award was given to 44 women of the country. Women that most people didn't know about, but who in their own very, very special way were creating a shift in society by what they were doing, but it required inner power to do what they were doing. Most of them have faced a lot of resistance, a lot of challenges in what they were doing for society. It was not their personal achievement, it is what they were doing for society. But nowadays, sometimes even to do something beneficial, you face challenges. So inner power, what we call the spiritual power, is that inner power, the inner power of positivity, purity, selfless intention to serve people, and then the determination to be on that, irrespective of whatever comes in the way.
And when things come in the way, you do need a lot of inner power to draw on, don't you?
Absolutely.
And so I'm reflecting on this extraordinary story that you have, which in brief was, as I understand it, a moment where you were working behind the scenes and then you were called in front of the camera. So tell me, when you found that you had a voice and when you found that you had an audience, was there a moment or was there a series of moments when you thought, this is what I'm here to do? And did you feel inside a resistance at all, like why me, or did you just jump in there?
Initially, a resistance. I don't think I was ready to take up the responsibility or even felt that I qualified for it. Because when you're representing not yourself, but you're representing a huge international organization and a wisdom, a knowledge that does not belong to you, but what you have learned from the Supreme Power, then every word you say is not about you. It's about what you have received. So it's a huge responsibility. And when I look at it 12 years back, I don't think in any way I qualified to be there on that chair of that TV program. So there was a lot of resistance and rejection, and I didn't want it. And I said, there's no way. So I kind of rejected the opportunity that I was getting. I was being told to do it since I was present in the studio, but I rejected it. I didn't want to be a part of it. But somehow I was forced to do it, actually, initially, literally forced to do it and pushed into doing it. And when I sat there on the chair, I mean, that's an experience which I still remember so distinctly. No preparation. Don't know what's going to happen. Like I'm meeting you today, I was meeting the lady for the first time who was going to shoot the program. She knew nothing about the Brahma Kumaris. So she comes and asks me, so what are we supposed to talk about on this show? Because she's a host of TV programs. I said, I have no idea, don't ask me anything. I'm here not by choice. So you see what you want to do. But the only thing that helped at that time was a meditation practice that I had been doing for almost 10 years before that. And that very, very personal relationship with God. Not God as a concept, but a relationship as a parent, a friend. So when I sat on the chair, after that initial disturbed mind, I accept the situation, I sit there, and then I just meditate for a few minutes. And I just say, now I surrender. because the things are not in my control.
Yeah.
So now I surrender. So the only thought that I created that day was, now since you have asked me to sit here, now you use me.
Mm-hmm. You offered yourself.
Yes, you surrender. Surrender in the sense then you stop thinking. Don't use your mind and intellect. Silence your mind and surrender the mind to that Supreme Being. It was the most amazing experience. That was the first day. We shot 8 episodes of 30 minutes each in one day. And I don't know how it was flowing. And whatever was coming out, I don't know. I don't think I knew most of it. So I was learning while speaking.
Right, yeah.
It's a very strange experience where you can be detached from your own self and see what you are talking and learn from your own self. Yeah, it was very, and then it did well with the audience when those 8 episodes were released. So obviously the people around me said, now do it again because it's done well. I couldn't explain to them that, that day was a very divine experiences. Such things don't happen every day. It is one of those miracle moments for you. So this is not going to happen again. It's very difficult to convince somebody else about your personal experience. And they say, no, it's happened once, so it will happen again. Again, I had a resistance. Again, I didn't want to sit there. I wanted to keep that one experience as my experience for a life. And I said, this is not going to happen again. Then I was asked to do it again. Again, the same surrender. And again it happened. So then you start experimenting with it. And then the third or the fourth time I thought, we can't just sit on the chair. We should prepare something before we sit on the chair. And how is this? We just go and sit every time. So we prepared. So we took up a topic. We said we'll talk about relationships and we prepared. When we sat on the chair, nothing of what we prepared came out in the program.
Interesting.
And I'm like, so we don't need to prepare. This is not about us. So that just took off the burden. Then I said, now I don't have to do anything. This is not my responsibility. My only responsibility is to keep my mind and intellect silent and surrender. Now that's been 12 years. And the program we've done about 1,500 plus episodes of 30 minutes each. But it's been the same experience every time. Sometimes it just doesn't work. We just sit and we talk, but I can feel it that it's not the way smooth it should be. So we just pack up and say, no, it's not happening today. Till we experience that, we don't do the program. But it's been a very beautiful learning experience.
I love it when you said miracle moment. And I think that as women, people, but I know many women who have a passion for something. They want to do something in the world. They want to make a difference. They want to create a mission. And then there'll be something that I don't know enough. So this miracle moment, I mean, how do we create these miracle moments where we, in a place of trust, that as I am prepared, rather than I need to prepare more? How do we shift into that? How do we get there?
And for me personally, it was not trust in myself, but it was more a trust in God, because of my personal relationship which I had cultivated. It's like how you cultivate a relationship with another human being, where then you can trust that human being. You know that person is always there for you. You know that person will take care of you better than what you take care of your own self. So you're ready to surrender. It's like a child to a parent. If you trust your parent, you will just follow what they say to you because you trust their intentions for you. So that day was that trust, that surrender, and then the experience. But then that taught me surrender in a more deeper way. That day it was more in a childish manner. That like a child, I'm talking to God saying, I don't know anything, you made me sit here, now you better take care of it. So today if I look at it, I think it's a very childish way of talking to God. But then that day it was my truth for that day. Today I understand surrender at a deeper level. That surrender means just keep your mind and intellect silent and allow the divine to use you. When we say miracle moments, for miracle moments we need a silent mind. Because the silent mind will be an intuitive mind. A silent mind will be a powerful mind. A silent mind will bring out the wisdom within you. Each one of us is a knowledgeful soul, but we are so cluttered by only the information that we're getting from the outer world. So we are not aware of our own capacity, our own powers, our own wisdom. So to tap into our own wisdom is to have a daily personal relationship with the self, even with your own self, and with God, and that's meditation. So that keeps your conscious layer of the mind very silent, and you can just tap into your own wisdom and power whenever you want, and it's a miracle for you that day.
You're talking about investing in yourself, aren't you? Because then you've got some power to leverage. You talked about having a 10 or 12 year practice, but we can start any time. I mean, 21st of June is the not only Midsummer's Day, but it's International Yoga Day, the 5th one this year. And people will be out doing their yoga practices, but we're talking about yoga of the mind here, aren't we? A different form of yoga. So how can we get started on that if we don't already have a practice with a view to bringing this inner strength in? I mean, how would you suggest somebody just moves forward with this, or is less sporadic? Sometimes people are sporadic, they don't have that discipline.
Nothing can be achieved without discipline. Anything, and we all know that. Whether it's a student studying, whether it's a sports person, whether it's an actor, a singer, everybody has discipline in their life. So to achieve something, there will have to be discipline. Similarly, if I want to achieve something in my inner world, discipline is an integral part of life. And discipline means when we say a few minutes of self-care every day, then it's not once in a while the day I have time. You know what some of us do is, the day I have time, I'll meditate. The day I have time, I will exercise. That's not going to work for us. It has to be, I will meditate, and then the rest of the time is for everything else that I have to do. So the meditation, the yoga, the exercise is not an option. It's a fixed part of our daily lifestyle. Only then it will give us results.
Yes, you have to value it, like breathing and food. You've got to, make it that important. Rather, as you say, if I have time, I will do that. I run community meetings called Conscious Cafe, where we get together and we talk about things that matter. And quite a few times over the last couple of years, we've talked about kindness, compassion, caring, self-care. And I've seen you talk about forgiving ourselves and self-love. The one person that we have to care about, that we have to forgive, is ourselves. Why do you think it is so difficult? Why do you even have to tell people to do that? Why are we hard on ourselves?
We're not actually hard on ourselves. We believe that the cause of our pain was the other person.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you do not behave the way I was expecting, if you lie to me, cheat me, betray me, or do something which I did not expect from you, I create hurt. But when I create hurt, I don't understand that I am creating it. I say, you hurt me. Now that gets recorded here. This is an emotional wound. You hurt me, first line. Second line, I'll never forget this. So I prepare my mind that this has to be never forgotten. So I hold on to that pain. Days will pass, years will pass. I will live like a victim, holding you responsible for my pain, talking to other people about my pain and about you, which will only reinforce that pain every time I think and I talk about you. So when we say forgiveness, we're actually not forgiving the other person. How can I forgive you? Because what you have done is your karma. Your karma and you will work hand in hand. Forgiveness means I stop creating the hurt. That is forgiveness. I stop creating the hurt. There was a sister who came to our Brahma Kumari centers. She had been abused as a child when she was 5 years old. As a child, she believed her parents were responsible for it. You know how a child feels, my parents were not there to protect me when this happened. So the soul carries a lot of resentment against the person who did it, and also against the parents. Because you believe your parents should have been there to protect you. When I first met her, she was 35 years old. She didn't get married because she didn't trust people anymore because of her childhood experience. And then when she started studying and doing the meditation, she got one very important line, and she said, that person physically abused me, and that person physically abused me once. I emotionally abused myself for 30 years.
It's a good distinction, isn't it?
It is, no? That person, we're not saying it's not right, it's very harmful, but the rest of the harm is done by me. And that day she said, today I release, I let go, I forgive myself for the pain I've given myself for 30 years. She changed as a person. It all depends on how we're going to talk to ourselves. Am I going to live like a victim, or am I going to take charge of my thoughts, feelings and emotions?
Yeah, that self-talk is so important, isn't it? Positive self-talk. Sister Shivani, can I ask you, you've travelled a lot around the world speaking to tens of thousands of people. In your travels, particularly in the West, have you seen, what have you seen in the way of a change in women becoming more powerful, using their power more, in the sense of this rise of the feminine? Have you seen that in the 10 years or so that you've been travelling? Has that been evident to you?
We normally don't focus on whether it's the man who's doing it or it's the woman. Yeah, it's the soul power.
Yeah.
So we believe that everybody needs to emerge that power within. All that we need to do is not just focus on the outside, because out in the world today, even when we talk about women empowerment, we're talking more on the outside of it. We're talking about professions, work, being financially independent, being socially independent, which is very important. But most important power is this power, empowerment. So soul empowerment means I am emotionally independent. My thoughts and feelings are not dependent on people and situations. I create my thoughts and feelings. So you can do wrong to me, I will create right thoughts. Situation can be a crisis, I will create right thoughts and I will change my destiny. When we take this as our responsibility, this is liberation. This is freedom. So we're talking about liberation, we're talking about freedom, but inside we are a slave. We can get hurt just because somebody didn't like our post on social media. That's not freedom. That's a lot of dependency. We're dependent on people to feel good about ourselves. So women empowerment, soul empowerment. And each one of us needs to be liberated from this bondage that we have created on people's behaviors and situations. That's real power.
Human liberation.
Absolutely, liberation.
So what you've been saying is witnessing a spirit. Have you been witnessing a spiritual hunger?
Definitely, definitely. And that's all over the world. And it's irrespective of gender, it's irrespective of age, irrespective of religion, nationality, caste. It's everywhere. It's just a personal choice. It's a personal choice. But there is a huge shift. Huge number of people are now shifting towards starting to take care of themselves and to raise their vibrations with the understanding that by raising our vibrations, we're actually also raising the vibration of the world, which is the need of the hour.
And a wonderful thought for the International Yoga Day, to raise our vibrations.
Let's start leading a yogi lifestyle. Yoga is not about an hour or a few minutes. A yogi lifestyle in which the way we earn money is ethical. The food that we eat is a high energy, pure food. Every thought is pure. Everything that we watch, read, listen is clean and pure. Leading a yogi lifestyle.
Sister Shivani, thank you so much, and I wish you tremendous luck with this fantastic tour that you have.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
Thank you.